And let's get started with that. Great. And hopefully you can see and hear everything. Last week in the middle of, oh, is it? Can you see the screen? Yeah. Last week in the middle of the game, my computer packed up, and but I turned it on the next day and it was fine. I suspect it had overheated, so I hope it doesn't happen again today. Um, anyway, we're going to look at a variety of hands involving declarer play today. And there's no particular theme to these. These are just all challenging hands from the point of view of declarer. And this is the one I sent out at the weekend in the quiz. And most people who played this played it in four spades. And depending on the defense, it's actually possible to make all 13 tricks. North here opens a heart. There's a two club overcall. You bid two spades, and three clubs is bid, and North jumps to four spades. And let's suppose the opponents lead a club, and let's stop to make a plan here. So, as is usual in a suit contract, we're going to start by counting our potential losers. So we don't have any spade losers. In hearts, we actually have two potential heart losers. We might lose to the queen and we might lose to the ace. We don't have any diamond losers. In fact, we've got the ace queen opposite the king singleton. So we could make some discards on that. And the only other losers we have here is the clubs. We have four potential club losers in our hand, but you may well think we're not going to lose those because there's an opportunity to ruff them or discard them on the diamonds. In fact, if we could avoid all those club losers, it looks like we should be able. And the best line on here is to plan actually to ruff all four clubs. And that leaves you with the ace queen of diamonds to discard your other two losers, your hearts. If you look at the club situation, especially with the opponents both having bid clubs, you should easily be able to ruff those four clubs. And you've actually got really good trumps in both hands, apart from the 5-2 in dummy and the 4 in your own hand. All your spades are high. So the best play here, you'll ruff that first club, of course, then maybe play the king of diamonds, so you unblock. And what we now want to do is maybe play another club, which we ruff. That's the last low ruff we're going to make. We've now just got two high trump in dummy. And the best play here is actually to cash your ace and queen of diamonds. And the thing to discard on that is your two hearts. So rather than try any kind of heart finesse, you can discard both heart losers on the two diamonds. And as long as you don't get some terrible diamond break, which would maybe result in one of those tricks being ruffed, you are now in great shape. So all you now need to do is play a heart, ruff it in your hand, and if you look, you'll see you're just down to high trump now. So you can just ruff a club high, you don't care what comes back, ruff a heart high, and ruff the last club high. And played that way, you can make 13 tricks. If we go back, when this hand was played, no one did make 13 tricks. And if I go back to the beginning and click on the double dummy button, it's actually showing me that against most leads, declarer can make 3 over tricks, i.e. 13 tricks. The best lead that will hold declarer to +2 is either to cash the ace of hearts or to lead a trump. And obviously, if you lead a trump, it's cutting down on the cross ruff there, and declarer won't be able to ruff all the clubs in dummy. So that was quite an interesting one. If South's hand had been a little bit weaker, let's suppose South didn't have the king of hearts, just had two low hearts, then it might have been a bit easier to find that line of play. But as it was, with that king of hearts, a lot of people are very reluctant to discard that. But I hope you can see that that is the best line there to make 13 tricks. Do interrupt me if you have a question about that one or anything else. And let's turn to the next hand. And here you open a spade. You've got a very nice hand there with 16 points, but very good distribution. Two 5-card suits, you open one spade, and your partner passes, which is a bit of a disappointment. But East doubles, that's for takeout. So you decide to bid your second suit, clubs, 2 diamonds, and now North supports your spade. So North's got fewer than 6 points, but of the 2 suits you bid, he has some kind of support for spades. He goes pass, pass. West bids 3 diamonds, and you decide to bid 3 spades, and that gets passed out. So let's have a look at that one. The opponents lead a diamond, and you can see pretty much what you expected. Your partner's just got 3 points and 3 spades. But nonetheless, let's start to make a plan here, and let's focus on how many potential losers we have, looking at the 2 hands together. And what I'd like you to answer, the specific wording of the question is, assuming the most likely distribution in the suits, in particular the spades and the clubs here, let's say, if you start by drawing trumps, so let's suppose they lead the queen of diamonds, play another diamond, which you ruff. If you then draw trumps, which will take 3 rounds, how many losers would you expect with the most likely distribution of the other suits, in particular the clubs? So have a think about that. And here comes the first poll. How many losers would you expect if you start by drawing trumps in 3 rounds? Have a look at the results. And the most popular response is 3, followed by 4, 40%, and 14% said 5. Well, let's work this out. I specifically phrased it to say that we're going to, if we draw trumps first. So if we drew trumps first, we're not going to lose any trumps. We've got all the high trumps. But we have 2 heart losers and 1 diamond loser. Those are clear cut. And what about the clubs? Well, you need to think about how many clubs you have, how many the opponents have. And here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the opponents have got 6. And with the most likely distribution of that being 4, 2, 4 in one hand and 2 in the other, you have 1 club loser. In other words, if someone's sitting there with 4 clubs, you can cash the ace, king, queen, but on the 4th club, they'll have a high club. But then if you can regain the lead, you'll make the 5th club. So yes, the right answer there to the question as I phrased it is 4. You have a club loser plus the other red suit losers. Now, once you've worked that out, you should play this to try to cater to that 4-2 distribution. It's possible that they don't divide 4-2. It's possible that they divide 5-1 or 3-3. If they divide 3-3, then you don't have any club losers, do you? You'll make all 5 tricks. But it's best to try to cater to at least the most common and the next most common distribution, and that is the 4-2 or the 3-3 distribution. So what we're going to do is they'll take that first trick, we'll ruff the second one, and because we to cater to a 4-2 distribution, we want to ruff once, and we want to ruff with a high club in dummy. So you should really defer drawing trumps, or you could draw some of them, but essentially you want to play maybe 2 rounds of clubs. And if everyone follows, you're now in great shape, because now you know the clubs are either going to be divided 4-2 or 3-3. And in either case, you're not going to lose any, because you're going to lead a low club here, and you're going to plan to ruff this one high. Now, on this hand, as it actually was played, West roughed here with a 5. That's not a problem. You just over rough. And now your clubs are established. So I always think this is a good time to think about the missing clubs if you weren't keeping track of them exactly up till now. You drew 2 rounds, 8 gone. 2 went in this round, so that's 9, 10. So you can account for 12 clubs, 10 have gone, and then you've got the queen and the 4, 11 and 12. So Easter sitting there with a high club, but you can draw that with your queen. So that's what I mean when I say the clubs are now established. So now it's a simple matter of drawing trumps, winning in the shorthand, crossing over, and once the trumps are gone here, you can now cash the remaining clubs, and you don't lose any club tricks. At the end, you're going to lose 2 heart tricks or a heart and a diamond, but you'll actually make 10 tricks here. And when this hand was played, no one managed that. The thing to avoid doing, although it might be all right in some situation, is to try to cash the ace, king, queen, because then that queen might be roughed. So just cash the minimum number of tricks, 2 tricks here, and then cater to that 4-2 distribution, planning to rough 1 club high. Any comments on that? Let me know. And we'll try one more. This was an interesting hand. A lot of people ended up playing this in 4 hearts, and no one made it. Let's have a look at this hand. Easter's opened a diamond. You overcalled a heart. You got a very nice heart suit there. Your partner supported you with 3 hearts, so that's invitational, and you accepted the invitation and bid 4 hearts. And again, the opponents here lead the queen of diamonds, and I'd like you to think about how many potential losers you have here. So with normal distribution of the suits, I'd like you to answer the next poll, which is how many losers would you expect to have with normal distribution in the different suits? So have a little think about that. And here comes the second poll. With normal distribution, how many losers do you think you have? Have a look at the results. And the overwhelming majority have gone for 4 here, the small number going for 3 or 4, 5. And let's see what we think. Well, in the spade suit, if you look at the south hand, we've got 3 spades opposite the ace king, 5, 4, 3. So we would expect to lose 1 trick there. We've got 8 spades and the opponents have got 5. So someone's got at least 3. And we would expect to lose 1 trick there. 1 spade loser, no heart losers, 2 diamonds, and a club. So yes, I agree with the vast majority of you. We have 4 potential losers there. Now, it is actually possible for the opponents to take those 4 tricks, but it depends how they defend. Let's suppose they play a diamond and play a second diamond, and let's suppose they now play a 3rd round of diamonds. Well, you should guess from the play and the bidding that there's quite a good chance that West might be able to rough this next diamond. So you should think about roughing high if you can, or discarding a loser. Here, I think I can afford to rough high because I've got such good trumps. I've got the ace, king, queen, jack, 10. So rather than risking a low rough, I'm going to rough high, say with the 10. And West does indeed discard, so that was a good thing that we did. And what we're going to do now is see if there's any possibility of avoiding one of those four losers we talked about. We've we've lost two tricks already, and it seems like we have a club and a spade to lose, but there is a chance here to set up the spades. We'll have to lose a trick, but it will set up a trick to make a discard on. So there are different ways you could play this. Let's suppose you start with the ace and the king of hearts, and you get a fortunate break there that you're able to draw all the trumps. If they hadn't all fallen, you might have had to change your plan. But as it is, that's all the trumps gone. And now all I'm going to do is try to establish the spade suit. So I'll play the ace and the king, play a low spade, which I know I'm going to lose. But if you're counting, you have now established the spade suit. Similar to before, we played 2 rounds. That's 8 gone, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So no one has any more spades other than North. And whatever they play now, let's suppose they play a club. You hopefully play the jack, but the queen is played and you beat that. But now you've still got an entry to the North hand, and you can cross over to the queen of hearts and cash a spade. And played that way, you won't lose any more tricks, and you'll make 10 tricks on that one. So the key on that one, I think, was looking for that long suit in dummy, that spade suit, and realizing that that could be a source of tricks. By the way, the defense could have defeated this, depending on how they play. So, in other words, if they'd taken 2 diamonds and then attacked clubs, then they could have made a club later on when they get in with the spade. If you have any comments, do let me know. Just want to turn to this hand. This was a hand that actually came up in a bridge game recently, and I was declarer on this. I was south on this hand, and I didn't do quite as well as I'd hoped. So let's see if you can do better. First of all, I've got a question for you, which is, what do you think South should bid here? North, your partner opened 1 club. There was a 1 diamond overcall. And what do you think South should bid? You have, I think, 13 high card points. And the next poll for you is, what do you think South should bid here? Let's assume no one is vulnerable. What do you think you would bid with that South hand? Have a look at the results. We've got some very even results there. 3 no Trump is the most popular response with 33%, followed by 3 clubs, 2 no Trump, and double. So those are all interesting choices. Let's think about it. We've got 13 points and my partner has opened the bidding. We're expecting that if we bid no Trump, that West will lead a diamond, and that should help me make at least 1 diamond trick. I've got, I expect the long diamonds to be on my right, and I may be able to make a 1 or 2 diamond tricks here. So I'm a bit worried here because I don't really have any kind of heart stopper, but my partner has an opening bid. And we have a fit in clubs as well, so that should be a source of tricks. So, yeah, my vote goes to 3 no Trump. And we were talking earlier about whether there's a right or wrong answer, and this one is definitely a matter of judgment. I know one other person, a very good player, who decided to bid 2 no Trump on this hand, but I decided to bid 3 no Trump, and that ended the contract. And let's see if we can manage to make this. So the opponents, as we expected, led a diamond. They led the 7 of diamonds. And let's stop to make a plan and start by counting our top tricks. Well, in spades, we've got one top trick, the ace. Hearts, we've got one top trick. We don't have any diamond top tricks, but we certainly after that lead, we expect to make at least one diamond trick there. And we have five club top tricks, we expect. So five, if we count one diamond, that's 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can see 8 likely tricks there. And we need to think about the possibilities of where we can make another trick. I'm not going to mention that now because there's a play problem coming up, and I'd like you to think about that. So we play the 9 of diamonds from dummy, and East plays the ace, and I of course play low. And I've actually set the program here so that it shows the cards that were played. So that may help you a little bit. That's not something you get in real life to see the previous cards. Anyway, East wins the ace, plays the queen, and let's suppose you take that with a king, discarding a spade. So you're in now, and let's suppose you start to play clubs. Suppose you play the queen of clubs and the jack of clubs. And I've got the final poll of the evening, which is what card or what suit do you think South should now play? South's on lead, and what is the right suit, do you think, for South to play now? Have a little think about it. I'm going to make it easier for you. I'm going to just go back to the beginning and let you have a look at the cards again. So the 7 of diamonds, the 9, the ace, and the 5. Then comes the queen of diamonds. You won it with a king, and you cash the queen and jack of clubs. And the question is, which suit do you think South should play now? Have a look at what you've got. And we've got a tie between continuing with clubs or playing a diamond, with smaller numbers going for a heart or a spade. And actually, if I bring up the double dummy display at this point, it is telling me that the only way to make this contract is to continue with diamonds. And it's all a matter of having watched the diamonds carefully as they were played. If you remember, the ace won the first trick. Sorry, the 9 was played and then the ace. Then the queen lost to the king. And the only other high diamond now with East is the jack. But you have the 10 and the 8, and the 9's already gone. So you can force out the jack and you can make a 9th trick there. It's very tempting on this hand to go back to keep plugging away at clubs and then maybe later on trying the spade finesse. But if that doesn't work, you won't make your 9 tricks. You've got to, rather than try, the 50-50 chance of the spade finesse, you should force out the jack by playing a diamond, and you'll make your 9th trick there. You'll make 2 diamond tricks. Let's just bring up the 4 hands as I play it. So the right line here is to play the 10 or the 8. Of course, throw away a spade. That loses to East, but you have established the 8 of diamonds now. So whatever is played now, you can actually try the finesse. It loses here, so you don't make an over trick, but you'll still be able to cash that 8 of diamonds. So whatever is played now, they lead the 10. You can take your ace, finally cash that diamond, and then continue with clubs and the ace of hearts at the end, and you'll lose that last trick, of course. So if we go right back to the beginning, it is possible for the defense to defeat you. But if they keep plugging away at diamonds and you're watching them carefully, you will actually see that you can set up a second diamond trick if they keep playing diamonds. So that's the end of the talk today. That was quite a challenging hand. Well done, those of you who realised that the right play was to continue with diamonds at that point. Anyone have any questions? Otherwise, we'll end the talk there. We don't have any specific hands in the play tonight. They're just fairly random hands so there was no particular topic in declare a play. So we'll start that game in just under 15 minutes. If you need a partner, just join the game, sit at a table, and click on the director link, and I'll come over to see you. Thank you all very much. Hope you enjoyed
Thank
that.
you.
And
Bye.
we'll see you all online, I hope. See you. Bye.
Bye.